So now we have met the team, we are going to go a little more in depth. For the next few lessons, we are going to focus on what Cathy Creator has done. She's the one behind the Cinderella 1 schema and all of those fabulous tables that will store the data for Cinderella. After today's lesson, you will see the steps one may take when designing tables for a database, and you will be introduced to the tables that make up the Cinderella 1 schema. So when Cathy Creator joined the team, she was super excited to start helping Cinderella transform her data storage and begin better utilizing the massive amounts of data Cinderella had already stored. Before Cathy Creator even opened up Fairy SQL and began entering in SQL create commands, she started the table design process with some research. The very first step Cathy took was to go into the massive room filled with golden crates and see what kind of data Cinderella was already storing. Cathy saw Cinderella was storing a ton of information about her subjects and a ton of information about the parties Cinderella threw. The next step Cathy took was setting up meetings to chat with Cinderella. During these meetings, she asked simple questions like, "What do you want to use the data for?" Cinderella had all sorts of plans for her data. During Cathy and Cinderella's first meeting, Cinderella shared that she wanted to have up-to-date personal information on all of her subjects, so their current address, and so the calligrapher could craft beautiful party invitations from an easy list. She wanted other personal information, like gender, marital status, date of birth, and subject description, so she could easily narrow down her guest list for some of her more specific party types, like matchmaking parties, or parties for kids, or parties for older married couples. Cathy sketched out a table diagram that she named subjects. In the subjects table, she created columns to hold data for things like subject name, address, gender, marital status, date of birth, or the column name is DOB, and a tagline. You may notice that it is similar to our subjects table that we created in Lesson 1, but there are some additional columns. The additional columns Cathy added could be because she went through way more data than we did, and also because she chatted with Cinderella about what she was hoping to do with her data. Cinderella also wanted to track her subjects' behaviors at parties. She wanted to reward good behavior like telling crowd-pleasing anecdotes or waltzing like an angel. She also wanted to track and potentially reprimand bad behavior, like swinging from the chandeliers or eating over and above one's share of desserts. She wanted to keep track of any subjects who RSVP'd after the RSVP date or didn't RSVP at all. She wanted to keep track of the best and worst dressed for awards and pictures to feature on Princess Wear. So Cathy Creator created a table called Party Behavior that could store information like behavior score, dress score, and actual RSVP date. Cinderella also wanted to have a subject photo on file so she could display the subject's photo in the Princess Wear directory. So Cathy created a table called Photos that stored all uploaded photos. During one of Cathy and Cinderella's many meetings, Cinderella shared she wanted to keep better track of her parties. She wanted to keep track of how she rated a party and any comments she had about the party. She wanted to keep track of when she sent out invitations, how many people attended, and the party theme. So Cathy Creator created the parties table. She created columns that could hold Cinderella's party score, or the C score as it was named, Cinderella's comments, or C's comments, party name, attendance, and theme. After more and more questions and discussions, Cathy created several more party tables for Cinderella. Not only did Cinderella want to record what she thought about the parties, she wanted to better utilize subject feedback. So Cathy created a table for subject feedback called Party Comments. Cinderella wanted to have a place for all of the photos taken at each party, so Cathy created the Party Photos table. Although Cinderella didn't think money was ever an issue, Prince Charming was quite the penny pincher. So Cathy created an overall party cost table and a party cost detail table that would store more details about the party cost, whether it be balloons, desserts, or invitations. So here we can see all of the tables Cathy designed for Cinderella. We will be using these tables throughout the course. Now, if you recall, a collection of tables is often called a schema. This is what we will refer to as our Cinderella 1 schema. As the name suggests, a relational database is about relationships. If you look at all of these tables, you might notice something. Although they don't store the same exact data, for the most part, the tables are related to each other. For example, party behavior has relationships with the subject table and the parties table. It tells information about how a specific subject behaved at a specific party. In later lessons, we'll go in depth on how to tie information from different tables together. But for now, I just want to show some of these relationships in a picture form. So here we see all of the connections between the tables. We'll talk a lot more about this in future lessons. But for now, the next step is to open up Activity 4. I think this one is a really fun one, so take a go at it. And when you're ready to come back for Lesson 5, we'll start talking about different data types.